So here we go again. The reason for today's demonstration is comes from a question I was asked: what is the upper and lower case? Why do they call it that when on the keyboard they're all at the same level and they're all as they are? So just for more information purposes than anything else, if we take a look at a typical layout for a typesetter's block, the way it used to be in the 17th, 18th and 19th century, even 20th century to some degree, and even now there are people that use type to create their various flyers, leaflets and proper printing presses. So here we have a typical layout, as I say, and these have got all the characters of the alphabet laid out in little boxes so that the person who composes the words to go on the flyer, or the compositor as he was called, would learn the layout of this and would be able to pick up any letter very, very quickly and add it to the form. The form, if I just click onto the next picture very quickly, this little object here is called a form, and the letters were put into it and kept fairly tight in the form. So this would say the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dogs, etc. But as you can see, the first letter there, capital T H E. So let's have a look back at our thing. The capital T would be here in the case which is above this case. In other words, this is the uppercase, and all the capital letters were kept in uppercase. The story I heard, whether it's true or not I don't know, but occasionally compositors would drop a letter because they're reaching right over all the case, and they'd grab a letter. So if you had your lowercase at the top there, you're picking up lowercase letters more frequently than you are uppercase letters. So in this case we take one from the top there, the T, and then two from the bottom here. So sounds like a countdown, doesn't it? But one from the top, the letter T, and then two from the bottom, H and E, in the lower case. So if you dropped a letter, it would still be in the lower case. When things were quiet in the print shops, you'd get some poor junior have to go through and separate all the letters, put aside all the letters that weren't correctly. Like if this is a tray for the E's, and you dropped an F and a G and an H in there, whatever, you get some junior have to go through the tray and sort these out, pull all aside the letters which aren't supposed to be there, and lay them to one side so a trained compositor could come and put them back in the correct place on their form. So there's the reason for it anyway. There's the uppercase and special character case, and at the bottom here the lower case. How does that equate to today's computer technology? Obviously this case that we can see here in the picture would contain one single font. It could be Arial, it could be Times New Roman or something like that, but you'd only get one case you'd get a case for every font. Now on my computer I've got 330, so if you can imagine 330 of these racked up, that would take up a considerable amount of space. So the average printing shop may only have 15, maybe 20 character sets, complete sets, and the rest would be individual requirements, and presumably they would go along to their colleagues and opposite numbers and share font cases. Anyway, that's then. A lot of that is supposition as well, I might add. So let's have a look at our character sets on the computer. If we go to all programs, and then go to accessories, and then go to system tools, and then character map, and here you'll see all the characters that are in the Arial font. Not necessarily all of these would be in the Arial font in a printing shop, like some of the Arabic letters here. It's got a Hamza below the final form, or some other ones, the Arabic letter NG final form. Yeah, you can see. Well, obviously you wouldn't have all those in a block like this. We're here dealing with mainly British stuff that you'd have, so maybe a lot of these you wouldn't use. Obviously with maths, when you're doing squared or cubed roots and things, you would maybe use those, but to get them, how do you actually put them on your piece of paper? Let's call up WordPad very quickly. Here's WordPad, and if I wanted to do 4 squared or something like that, we type in a normal number 4, and to get this squared character, here you'll see the keystroke Alt 0178, and the way we get that is by pressing the Alt key on the computer, 0178, and release the Alt key. When you release the Alt key, it'll put that second smaller character in place for you, and there it is. That now becomes 4 squared. That's brilliant because it's so easy, and we can go through any font we like and predominantly the various letters are the same. Very little variation. He says that. How you'd get on if you were using a block of type that you had to separate them all out from, that would be a nightmare, wouldn't it? So here we are anyway. This is the character map that we have with Windows. I did come across a small program people might find useful, and it's called Map of Characters, Mapochar, and it's quite a simple program. It's totally free as well. It's shareware, so you can go online and get it, and I'll put the address where I got this one from at the end of the meeting. If we have a look at options here, we can go to info, and it tells us that the email the author is mapochars@coolwintools.com. Now if I copy that and save that on my mouse pointer until we're ready for it. But that's the Mapochar. The nice thing about this little program is that if you want some obscure character, if for example the F, which I don't know its proper name, but if you wanted that, it's difficult to see in the character map that comes with Windows. However, if you have the right Arial font and you type in where it says key, which is Alt 0131, let's give that a try. So we press Alt 0131, bump, and there's our F. Looks more like the musical F for faster, isn't it? So that would it's one way of getting the special characters up on your letter. Again, just as another quick example, if we have a look at the fraction number there, it's a blank fraction. Again, I don't know the proper name for this thing, but if we go to our WordPad, excuse me, and the key number here is key Alt plus 0137, Alt 0137, and that will produce that character. Everything on this character map in the Mapochar has got a number, be it the space, which is number 32, right to the end there, which is Alt plus 0255, the German character there. All these characters you can include in your letters and in your writing just by a few extra keystrokes. Common from 0, I suppose, up to 122 is uppercase, lowercase, including numbers. Everything beyond that is special characters. That is a little program called Mapochar. It's free, and as I say, I'll put that email address up on the web. When you get to that website, coolwintools.com, and the index of the site is actually just this one Mapochars. If we open it up, we'll end up with two folders. Both work. I've taken the top one, which is Mapoche, and saved that because it looks a little bit different to what I'm used to normally. If I go to my downloads page, and you'll see the Mapoche there, I can extract all the files, which will give us this one here. And because it's an unusual site and I downloaded it anyway, it doesn't hurt just to scan with Security Essentials. And the way we do that is we highlight it, click on Scan with Security Essentials, and do the custom scan, which will take us to a local C drive. It will take us to users, it will take us to my account, and that in turn will take us to downloads, and in there we can see this file, so we can scan it directly. Says absolutely fine, nothing to worry about, no real worries on that. There we are. So that's the end of this demonstration. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll have a bit more next time. Thank you for listening.